I'm going to start by asking, the roles you play can often be quite a lot of distress in films that can sometimes be quite severe or quite, suspenseful and intense, I think. And this is quite a hopeful movie and quite a positive movie. It must have been quite a nice change of pace for you.
It's lovely, yeah. I mean, I got to the end of doing a film called Anna Karenina and sort of realised that I'd been dying in pretty much everything that I'd done for about 5 years, or something horrendous had been happening. And I love dramas, and I love sort of like working on all of those, and they were really interesting. But I definitely got to the point where I sort of thought, I want to change this up a bit and do something that's positive and kind of full of hope. And so I read a lot of stuff, and it's kind of quite difficult to find those sort of films without them being kind of extraordinarily cheesy. And so this was the first one that I read that I thought it's got kind of enough of an acerbic quality to it, but equally is sort of full of hope and laughter. So it sort of ticked all my boxes, really.
But can roles like that be be harder to play? Because I suppose they're a bit more subtle than the sort of big dramatic productions.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely completely out of my comfort zone. I mean, a lot of this was improvised, and I'd never done that before. So, and actually didn't know that we were going to be doing that until about 5 days before we started shooting. And John, the director, said, "Right, I'm throwing the script out. We're just going to make it up," which was quite scary. And then obviously the singing, I'm not a singer, so I didn't really know how to do that. So that was kind of very much a question of sort of winging it. But I mean, I think it's always good to swap things up and change it up and kind of and do something different in different styles. So I found it all really interesting.
And in regards to kind of relating to the character, I mean, obviously she's sort of going out with a musician. In real life, you're going out with a musician. Were you able to draw on anything from your real life?
Not so much really that. I think it was more the kind of idea of this person that falls down. She's going along her life. She thinks that everything's sorted. Her life's going in this direction, and suddenly something happens, and she's completely flawed in it, and she doesn't know where she is or who she is or what she's meant to do or who she's meant to be. And I think any adult can identify with that, and the hope in it is the fact that she finds her own feet and she stands up on her own and she does something for herself and something that she wants to do, which isn't about a bloke or isn't about anybody else. And I loved that sort of positivity, that kind of you can fall down but you will get back up again sort of spirit to the whole thing.
Of course, we get to see you sing quite a lot in this movie. Was that quite a nerve-wracking experience for you?
It was quite a nerve-wracking experience. I'm not a singer. I didn't know how to sing. I mean, I'd done it once before in another film, but it was kind of a very 40s sort of theatrical style. Whereas this was something very different. And actually, the lyrics for a lot of the songs weren't written until about 2 days before we went into the studio. So it was really a matter of kind of getting into the studio and just sort of trying to figure it out and come up with something that made sense for the character. So it was certainly me very much out of my comfort zone, but definitely an exhilarating experience.
Because, so I'm guessing you signed on before the songs were written then. That must have been quite nerve-wracking as well, to kind of wait for the strength of the music to come through.
Yeah, but I think I was just a bit stupid about the whole thing, because it just had lots of dialogue scenes, and then kind of a tiny little bit at the bottom that would say, and then she sings, and then dialogue scene. So I think I just sort of didn't, and even the actual scenes that the songs are in weren't actually in the first script that I got. So they were very much, I think John had come up with them before, but they certainly weren't in any script that I saw. So it was very much kind of make it work and make them fit as they go. I just didn't think about it really.
Because again with this film, it just marks a career that's been so diverse, and you sort of seem to take on so many different roles and always sort of seem to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Do you quite enjoy the fact that there isn't any such thing as a typical Keira Knightley role?
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, I think you've got to keep it interesting for yourself and for people who are watching your films, and you can't stagnate. And I think with this, it really scared me, and I'm always sort of looking for stuff that scares me, that I don't necessarily think that there's an easy way, or I go, oh yeah, I know exactly how to do that. It's like, okay, it's a challenge, so let's go.
So just talking of challenges quickly, this couldn't be further away from Everest, which was that as difficult to shoot as it sounds?
I was only on it for 5 days, and I had a really easy bit because I didn't actually go up the mountain. I think it was very difficult for all of them though. I think they were in, I think it went down to -40 or something in some mountain range that they were in. So yes, I think it was very difficult for them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks
a lot.
Cheers.
Cheers.